Permulaan what happened during COVID, saya dapat kanser rahim. So when I dapat kanser rahim, and then after that in between I keluar masuk hospital, I kena ICU, I coma for 1 week. So these are the medical terms yang I kena. So whenever I open my eyes, the first thing I look at Mekah.
Oh, maksudnya bayangan tu?
Yeah, when I open is before I open I saw Mekah. Then I open my eyes.
Baik, kadang-kadang bila kita buat rancangan dalam hidup kita ni, perjalanan hidup kita ni tidak seperti apa yang kita rancang. Betul tak? Kita sama ada kita ni seorang ayah ke ibu ke pasangan ke anak-anak, kita pasti melalui naik turun kehidupan. Itu yang dipanggil apa? Asam garam kehidupan kan. Hari ini saya bersama dengan seorang wanita yang bukan saja dikenali sebagai ejen hartanah, semua orang dah kenal dia. Memang dah famous sangat, tapi beliau juga seorang personality media social. Ni dia macam self-made media social punya personality. Tapi beliau juga seorang yang pernah jatuh dan kemudian beliau bangkit semula. Dan bersama Sujimi hari ini adalah Susan Mariam, dan beliau akan kongsilah bagaimana sebuah perjalanan yang penuh cabaran, keberanian, dan bagaimana beliau berubah, berhijrah. Itu yang kita nak tahu daripada beliau. Semoga y'all mesti kongsi dan perlu ambil iktibar. Cerita Susan ni banyak iktibar dia. Jadi Susan, terima kasih kerana bersama Sujimi.
Baiklah.
Saya ingat lagi saya interview awak sebelum awak hijrah. Ingat tak?
Saya.
Jadi hari ni awak dah alhamdulillah dah berhijrah. Saya masih belum tahu cerita sebenar. Baik. Kenapa Susan hijrah gitulah.
Permulaan what happened during COVID, saya dapat kanser rahim. So when I dapat kanser rahim, and then after that in between I keluar masuk hospital, I kena ICU, I coma for 1 week. So these are the medical terms yang I kena. So whenever I open my eyes, the first thing I look at Mekah.
Oh, maksudnya bayangan tu?
Yeah, when I open is before I open I saw Mekah. Then I open my eyes.
Masya Allah.
Dia macam memanggil. So I was like, macam degil I still want to party. I still want to enjoy, you know. I feel that I'm young. I feel that I got money. Aku ada duit apa. Why, what think about this agama so much? We still living in this world. Let's enjoy, So this is because I bercampur dengan kaum lain. So I think my mindset is like that. Kemungkinan. So the worst hit when I got cancer rahim. Which actually I cried, and then I cakap dalam hati, I kata, kenapa Allah tak nak kurniakan aku satu zuriat, at least a zuriat? Why Allah is so lame? Why so zalim? So when I dapat the operation during COVID, the second day of lockdown, that's the worst one, because I'm also a heavy smoker, that kind of thing. So the doc say you have to do it fast because it's cancer 1A. So
cancer 1A means baru?
Baru initial part, but it's going to be too soon. So you quickly remove your womb, lepas tu then we see how it goes.
Oh, untuk menghilangkan cancer tu you have to take out
the whole thing. But the doctor was telling me, why not you keep your telur? So I cakap, no lah, cannot lah, it's haram lah in the eyes of Islam, So I removed the whole thing. When I removed the whole thing, yang time I dekat sick bay punya tempat kat luar tu lepas operation, again when I buka mata nampak Mekah.
So ceritakan sikit, saya ni very interesting. Nampak Mekah tu, okay, you tengah sadar ke you tengah mimpi tu?
I just fikir macam aku mimpi ke tak. Tapi when I open my eyes, I saw the light of the hospital. Dia kirakan macam ala macam you meninggal and hidup balik, that feeling.
I don't know that feeling.
I mean that feeling I macam rasa because it happens to be 3 times in my life.
Allahu Akbar. 3
times in my life. So when the last one yang cancer tu kan, dalam hati I kata, is it the time for me to change?
So you dah mula bertanya kat situ.
And then is it shall I be a free thinker
Oh, sampai ke situ
Shall I, is Islam is that? Even I born Islam pun, is it that? Betul ke Allah ni exist? Because I'm mixing around with all kaum lain. So they have their different thinking. So what happened when I dah remove my cancer punya womb, I saw one ustaz.
Okay.
I met one ustaz dekat luar masjid. But I tak berhijab.
Okay.
Dia cakap, you nak telekong tak?
Oh, tak ada gitu
I cakap, ustaz tak ada, saya tunggu klien saya nak sign dokumen. Ni dah nak asar ni. Tak apa, saya boleh tanya kawan-kawan saya kat dalam. Awak ambil telekong. Then I was like, tak ada, I run to the car. Macam malu. I malu because with my condition, So that is where it trigger me again. So my client, tak apa Susan, ada telekong, masuklah. That is where it started to open my heart. I nak ambil wudu tak tahu. Lila macam I do not know. Habis bilik tandas ada, I go to the men's side. Dia kata no, you must go this side. Oh okay, women's side. Habis solat not in the center, there's a women's room. Dia cakap itu. So I cakap, oh ada women's room That is where it started.
Okay.
That is where it started. So when I was at the mosque, ni anak nangis ni. Sedih. Sebab I cakap dalam hati I kata, am I in the right path?
You tanya diri sendiri gitu.
Am I in the right path? So when I mix around with them, then that is where I cakap, actually cool going to this mosque. I was telling myself. So I tried to go alone dekat Pusara.
Do you have tissue? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry
It's okay.
Part ni macam touching sangat I'm sorry.
Wait, siapa yang you bergaul tu? Your client?
My client.
Your client and their friends. Okay.
Yeah, and their friends. So I tried to go Pusara pasal kalau subuh tak ada orang. She said that to me. Kalau kau nak berjinak-jinak Susan, kau pergi Pusara. Tak ada kak, Pusara tu dekat kubur agak-agak.
Itu dah dekat sangat
Kau dia agak-agak kak, So she was telling me that, tak apa, kau cuba. Because you staying Bukit Batok is nearby. So I tried. Tapi kaku. And the worst one, the second time pergi masjid tu, I'm alone. There's no other woman. So dekat the woman section tu, I'm alone. So I open the curtain a little bit to see the some of the men is in front. Then I just ikut je belakang. That is where it started. Then I dah shock pula pergi Pusara. That is where I started.
Okay.
That is where I started. So I told my late husband, okay, I cakap dengan dia, I want to go umrah lah. So he said, you ready not? I think I am ready. Then after that he say, kita baru shoot dengan Abang Sujimi, which is 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That point of time. Then I cakap, tak apalah, taruh tepi lah tu benda. I want to go. So when I went there, it's 360 degrees change.
Wow.
For me. I don't talk to my late husband so much. I do my own business.
Okay.
I be close to all the ladies. Then I learn more there.
Apa perasaan you bila nampak Kaabah tu kali pertama?
Okay, kan kita we enter to the mosque kan. Kita jalan throughout. Lepas tu daripada atas tu, before the turun the escalator tu, we can see. Dah nampak kan. Itu I drop there, I cry.
Allah.
That one I cried because that is where when I kat hospital for the 3 times, I buka mata I nampak. Itu I duduk kat sana. Kira kan belum lagi turun escalator, ada duduk sana. So the ladies, Susan okay tak? I meraung kat sana. You know that the years I've been not close to Allah myself. That feeling macam aku pendosa rabaknya. I do so many things. I party, I drink, I smoke. I do not follow what Islam teaches. Which actually I feel that Islam is beautiful, which I tak realise, and it's very tenang. Why I don't do that last time?
Okay.
So when I start to be very close to Allah kan, a lot of things happen. A lot of negative come to me. Masih I was party, enjoying. There's nothing. There's no negative. Tak ada orang hentam I. Everything was so happy, so indah. In this world. But when I solat myself, when I sit down, I got this peace. myself. But in the world now, I don't see the peace. Is it because I change? I berhijrah? People semua tak suka I?
Ataupun ujian?
Or maybe ujian. Maybe this is what I feel. Because I just realized that most of my friends tinggalkan I. Those happy, most of them. I only left with a real friends, yang close friend. I tinggal 3 kawan je. Which I have so plenty of friends. And they say that Susan dah berubah. So, I just fight, I just fight for myself. My parents pun cakap, kau ni dah berubah, kau jangan nak macam ustazah sangat.
Okay.
Because my parents, they are still how they are. So I'm, they feel different. Macam I mengajar. So right now, I just keep quiet. I just do what I need to do. I just tegur je. But it's not easy. It's not easy.
Kenapa? Kenapa you kata?
Because I dah biasa dengan hidupan lama. And then I've been close with all these people. So when I berhijrah tu, there is a barrier kat sana tau. It's a lot of barrier. So I sometimes macam feel that, shall I buka semua balik, be like how I am? But when I think it again, no. I think I have to stop. If I have that feeling, I pergi masjid. I got the feeling I go masjid. I just want to, no, that's it. Because I think my age is catching up. I think, and then my business also fall a little bit. Because like what I said, the kaum.
Bila you hijrah?
Yeah, when I start to wear tudung.
Affected your business.
Some of my customer yang used to party all together, there's a line there. It affect me. Yeah, so.
But how do you see, apa yang you lihat bila benda-benda berubah macam ni kan? Apa agaknya dalam fikiran you yang ini sedang berlaku? Apa benda tu sebenarnya?
I just feel that, ya Allah, kau test aku sampai gini sekali. Or is it a path of me to be a normal person? Or is it it's all about money? So when I sit down and think again, abang, to Jimmy, I throw all my luxury things. I sell off. I left with, right now I left with 40% of my luxury punya bags. So
let go.
Semua I let go. I jual. I minimize. I love to have a lot of jewelries to show off. Riak lah. I used to be riak. And then after that I sell off all my gold. And then I sell 2 of my cars. Okay. And I left with 1 car.
Right.
So dalam hati kata, okay lah, this Maserati, this BM, this Merc, this Lambo and GTR I used to have all these things. I think this is all dunia lah. Forget it. If let's say rezeki, I believe in rezeki right now, not like last time. Kalau Allah nak bagi aku rezeki tu rezeki aku lah. Aku reda, aku pasrah, that's it. If let's say Allah kata, this is for you Susan, that's it. Jangan berungut. Last time no. I don't. But now I reda.
Ini yang menarik bila you cakap pasal rezeki ni. Apa prinsip you tentang rezeki hari ni?
Right now what I do is, whatever rezeki I have, okay, I take 30% of my rezeki, regardless whether I do live in TikTok, in Facebook or whatsoever, all the rezeki of this social media, I give 100% to anak yatim dekat Johor.
Masya Allah.
My gaji yang I kerja sebagai ejen rumah, 30% I bagi dengan anak yatim. So my birthday, kenduri semua kat rumah anak yatim. I don't party like dulu lah. Like how I used. Sekarang is all about party close to Allah. Enjoy with Allah, enjoy with anak yatim. So this is what I do, abang.
Baguslah. I mean like you keluarkan hasil keringat you sendiri. You berikan rezeki itu kepada orang lain. Banyak dia punya manfaatnya. Itu semua kita memang tahu. Yang I nak tahu sekarang ni, bila you dah berhijrah, dah banyak ramai kawan, dah meninggalkan you dan you tinggalkan mereka. Bagaimana perjalanan you sekarang banding dengan dulu, di mana you cakap you tak ada problem kan? Tapi sekarang you ada problem. Bagaimana you atasi masalah-masalah ni semua?
The problem is when, like what I said, is about dunia. Dunia is about money. Dunia is about that. The kind of thing about everything lah. So when I like what I said, when I close to myself to Allah, I close dengan budak-budak anak yatim. When I sad, I sedih, I pergi sana. I tampak budak-budak anak yatim ni macam very happy. Solat sama-sama. And then after that, diorang ada macam some activity, painting lah. Buat apa-apa. So, there is activity. Dalam hati I kata, actually with them, is much better than I'm having friends. When I'm having friends, diorang tak habis dengan masalah diorang, tak habis. You know. But when I'm with this anak-anak yatim, I feel very peaceful.
Okay.
My hati tenang and I can sleep well. Those time, I don't sleep well. I need to drink to sleep.
I see. Okay.
This is how I was. So, cabaran dia right now, I feel more peace. Less people actually is better. I just feel just be close to my family and my clients and also anak-anak yatim. But now I'm very close with anak-anak yatim.
Alhamdulillah.
Which is, the feeling is fabulous bang. Serious.
Bila dulu I selalu nampak you buat live.
Ya saya.
Kan? Sekarang you masih buat live?
Kurang.
Kurang. Tapi kalau you buat, apa content tu?
My content nowadays is different. My content is more to anak-anak yatim.
Oh.
And then my content is about food. But I don't ask for reviews, money, whatever. If the food is good, I just go and say food is good. But I'm more to anak-anak yatim.
Okay.
Yeah. So
pasal dulu you sensasi lah dekat,
I was so loud. I was so loud. I scold people. I was so aggressive, caci maki orang. So when that time the viewership was so good because people, the Malay community like benda-benda gaduh. Benda-benda gangsterism, gaduh. That is where your viewership is good. But when we go to this agama part, the relaxation, the viewership is not that good. People are not keen or interested. But when people, the Malay society which I see, macam cari hantu. Oh, my viewership very good bang. 1K plus. Just takat pergi kubur je bang.
Oh, okay. You do that dulu?
Yeah, I do. Those time.
Those time.
So now, when I pergi pusara, cakap time petang, kubur time petang, tak ada orang tengok banyak bang. But during those time, when I was not pergi paranormal, my viewership was like 1K plus. You see? So there's a lot of difference, a lot of impact, a lot of difference. I was just feeling, why people doesn't want to see me? Is it because I dah berhijab and my content is so boring?
Ya. Tapi itu tak, dari segi social media lah, perspektif social media, walaupun kita ada sedikit views, bagi saya pun sangat penting. Kerana kalau kita dapat ubah yang sedikit, dia manfaatnya kembalilah.
Ya,
banyak tu. InsyaAllah. Dan kita tak harus macam, bagi saya lah, saya dah buat social media dah berapa tahun? 10 tahun.
Ya.
Dulu kita kerjakan virality.
Yes, correct.
Sekarang kita cuma kerjakan manfaat.
Ya, betul bang.
So orang yang, walaupun sedikit je kalau content creator kat luar sana, macam rasa hampa, kenapa lah aku punya view ni sikit sangat. Tapi apa yang buat tu betul, jangan risau lah.
Because what bang, when I stop social media, like 2024 early January. So when I start buka balik, then after that the first one I did live in Facebook kan, then I end the live, I cried.
Kenapa?
Because it's only 30 viewers.
Oh, okay, itu bukan pasal you tau. Semua orang kena macam tu.
Oh, is it? Not you. So cakap, then my husband say, hey, you make sure don't talk like how you are.
Tak. Ini this is the new algorithm. Saya rasa Facebook dah, kalau Facebook lah diorang dah tak galakkan sangat lah you go live.
Okay.
Kalau dulu kita boleh beratus, kemudian boleh sampai kadang-kadang 1000 concurrent views. Sekarang nak dapat 20 pun susah.
Correct. So,
bukan you tau, semua orang.
I see. So what happened, somewhere May, I do the live Facebook meroyan bang.
Okay.
1.2. So I was
maknanya masih ada orang.
Ada. So I told my husband,
maknanya nak kena meroyan
So I told my husband, so now how is this? And then my husband kata, no, it's not good for you.
Yalah.
My husband say, no, stop. My current husband say, no, stop.
I mean, kadang-kadang kita, bagi saya, kita nak kena pilih dia punya menu dan diet dan kita nak kasih kepada orang.
Right.
Mungkin kebanyakan kita memang suka makan makanan berminyak. Makan makanan yang mungkin tak berapa healthy. Tapi adakah itu baik untuk kita?
Correct.
So kadang-kadang kita hidangkan makanan yang sihat, tak ramai pula nak kan?
Ya, betul.
Tapi tak bermakna itu tak baik. So we just nak kena istiqamah lah kat situ.
Correct. So when I do it again bang, he become 15 only bang. Lagi sedih.
Maknanya you nak kena meroyan, you nak kena buka podcast meroyan.
So I think I don't want to have that kind of life so much because I'm catching up, and then I need to change somewhere. Sampai bila, you know. So I think that era, that's it.
I dapat nampak beza diri you sekarang daripada aura you. Pasal I jumpa you waktu you belum berhijrah dan saya dah interview you. Beza sangat. Hari ni you macam makin tenang lah.
Yes,
you can feel it's very
feel,
tenang. Alhamdulillah. And saya tahu you banyak melalui daripada hari yang I jumpa you. Kita interview dekat my old office kan. Sampai hari ni macam-macam berlaku dalam diri you. Mana apa yang you boleh update kat kita?
After the Umrah trip, things went wrong, you know, family issues. And then he was having cancer, colon cancer, all that. And then I was so down. My weight was 109 kilo. And then I got some criticism on people in social media. A few people are attacking me on social media, etc. I lost weight about 30 over kilo. From 109 to 72 kilo. I was so depressed. Time tu I dah hilang ingatan, which I can't remember. I still can't remember until today. I tahu that according to my knowledge, I wanted to commit suicide during December.
Masya Allah.
And then I was in IMH.
IMH?
I book.
Berapa lama tu?
They said about 7 days, 7-8 days.
Wait, you tak ingat ni semua?
I tak ingat. So on the 9th day, when I opened my eyes, I saw Mekah lagi.
Okay.
Then I cakap, aku kat mana ni? Ni hospital apa ni? You know, that kind of thing. So that is where I know that I was in IMH. And then after that, diorang just want to relax. I think I'm still terlampau stress. Pasal I tak tidur. It means from September onwards, I never sleep. It means I sleep tak sampai setengah jam per day. So benda tu, and then I keep on doing live, meroyan-meroyan, that kind of thing. So I'm not myself.
Wait, ini berapa tahun lalu ni?
2023.
So
saya,
I can see that macam the whole, you ada macam-macam yang datang.
betul.
And you are shouldering all this difficulty.
Everything,
kan? Apa tu sebenarnya bila you macam lupa dan sebagainya? Adakah itu situation di mana you going through depression ke? Atau?
I was a little bit lost somewhere first week of October.
Okay.
I tak ingat sangat. Even nanti cerita tak ingat sangat. What is going on. But my parents, my friends yang rapat dengan 3 orang ni, is the one who actually tell me the whole story. And I never even step my legs to my office at Orange Tea. At all.
Okay. So apa yang diorang katakan tu?
Dia orang cakap, you know kau tak macam kau. Dia kau termenung. And then kau selalu marah kita. All of them get scolding from me. I throw barang. So my life that time is Facebook live je. So when they saw me dah macam dah over the board tu kan, that is where they start to bring me to the clinic, all that.
Okay.
I was so depressed.
Yang orang 3 orang ni masih bersama you lah?
Masih, Alhamdulillah, masih bersama. And then with my outside there's Sharia courts going on, family courts going on. So there's a lot of things happen. So that is the reason why the impact is so huge. Orang-orang yang I pernah tolong dulu, tolong kehidupan orang, tolong dengan money, monetaries, all that. These are the people who I actually come back to me to attack me back.
Okay.
Yang I pernah menolong diorang. Until today, I draw a line. Some of them try to call me and nak minta maaf. I just smile and walk away. I cakap, sorry, I busy the client. I give all the excuses until today. So I think it's better not to lah. I can forgive you, but I will never forget. Itu saja.
I think tak ramai yang mungkin ramai yang lupa how you start your property punya
business
career. Saya sebagai macam saya nampak Susan very active dulu dekat traditional media.
Betul.
And this is way before social media. Dan you masuk Suria, TV Suria kan?
Correct.
And I dengar you kat radio.
Betul.
You're very active.
Betul.
Tapi kalau orang tahu aktif maknanya banyak belanja lah.
Banyak duit belanja lah.
Banyak belanja.
Okay,
ini traditional media bukan murah kan. So is that how you start your career? You straight away berani masuk, berani laburkan ini ataupun you memang dah buat marketing di traditional memang you dah tahu dah lama gitu?
Tak, the story is actually I was a factory worker those time. So I kerja gaji $850. Then I do part-time as a property agent. So I save up my money from there. So every cases yang I tutup, I keep and put saving. So I save sampai hari, there's one day MJ12 have this DVD, all that. So I was into it. So I'm the first one who actually sponsored the DVD 1 and 2 and 3.
And waktu tu you part time lah? Masih belum full time?
Belum like, dia macam belum lagi. So when I dah labur, then after that from there I say, making money is all about advertisement. So those time tak ada social media. So I tengok the Suria channel, you know, the time Channel 5, Channel 8 those time lah. Oh, that is how McDonald make money. Oh, that is how KFC make money. Oh, it's about advertisement. So that is where I have only $50,000 in my hand as saving. Then I pawn my jewelry, all that. And then I bum.
Wait, at that time berapa dorang charge you? I know it's a lot because I'm from there lah kan?
Yeah. Radio, I remember 1 month my 1 month expenditure is 45,000.
Wow, radio alone
Radio and TV.
Radio TV.
It means 1 month. So I only have 2 months bang. Then after that I signed the contract for 1 year, you know. How daring.
Dia master contract
kan? How daring I was.
Wow.
And then after the 3rd month I ada goyang sikit. Then my mom say, you have problem? Then I tell my mom this is the problem. My mom used all her jewelry to pawn for me.
Wow, Masya Allah.
Then I tell my mother, I get my commission on the 4th month. So the first thing what I do is, my mom kata tak apa, buat duit rolling. Then I roll. Only on the first year, 2 months from that, you know, the advertisement, I start to keluar khabar my mother.
So, baru you see dia punya results.
I see the returns.
1 year 2 months gitu? Lama juga you
tak,
invest.
Pasal I nak kena roll. I nak kena roll. Memang ada duit untuk keluar khabar my mother. So surat pajak tu, I just bayar the interest. That is how I started for. And then that is where I lupa daratan. This is the fact. The 3rd year I dah lupa daratan. I party here and there, macam tak pernah party, duit dapat banyak. Macam pergi LV tu, macam LV tu tempat I.
You always tukar-tukar bag gitu?
Yeah, I do live. I spend about 100,000 that particular day buying all the LV shoes, etc.
Wow.
Macam gayat tak dapat duit kan. So I lupa sekejap. That is where I build up my life. Beli kereta, tukar kereta macam nobody business. Just bought the car for 2 months. I bought the Lambo with with the DCs that time. Only for 2 months. Which I cannot make it. Pasal is rendah and I'm fat. So dia macam susah nak sit kat situ. You know that kind.
Wait, I'm trying to understand your career. You say that the results dah datang and all that. How do you get all that success? Is that because you ada ramai kaki tangan ke, atau you seorang?
I'm alone.
Get all that business in?
I'm alone. I'm alone. I run alone. The most important thing is your time management. You know, in this career, it's about time management. Actually, not only my career, any careers. It's always about our time management. But at point of time, I have no time for myself.
But you have this tagline lah.
Kak Amboi.
Yes, Kak Amboi yang differentiate you kan?
Yeah, correct.
And I noticed lepas tu ramai yang gunakan their own tagline.
Yes, correct. So that is where the tagline. Then music, Eja Rumah dulu mana ada music. So I'm the one who started first.
You macam buat jingle gitu
jingles. And then I buat MTV lagi, MTV.
Oh, MTV.
Yes, dancing all that.
Siapa yang because yang kenalkan you dengan I, Karudin.
Yes.
Is he the one who helped you dari dulu?
More or less the idea come from him, and then I start to close with Abang Sujimi. Abang, sorry. I'm very close with Abang Suhaimi
Yusof.
Yeah, so that is where he do the talk show with me. So that is where we start to be close. They give me ideas. So he was talking about his experience. Kai was talking about his experience. These people are from Media Corps. So I just sit down there because diorang isap rokok macam nobody business. Termasuk I juga terbakar juga kat dada. So when I sit down and listen, I pick up from them. I take a little bit from him. I take a little bit from them. So they always talk about, like you all talking about your shows ke, drama ke, movie. You know, diorang berbual lah diorang. So I would just listen. You must always remember, Susan, you also must take note. You will talk like that. Whenever we do a story, there is opening, there's something in the middle, make sure there's a closure. Kau buat live, make sure there's a closure. Kau jangan nak bil, there's no closure. So that is how I learn. And then they was talking about their business. They do this business. So I mix around with a lot of people. Tiba-tiba Mediacorp. Those time is at Caldecott.
Yeah,
is it that?
Andrew Road lah.
Yeah. So diorang kat luar isap rokok. So I pun join the kaki. So I learn from them.
Okay.
And then for the radio punya part, also I learn from some
That's
of them.
why you're very media friendly lah. Media friendly meaning you try a lot of things.
Yes.
And you tak segan untuk keluar.
Yeah.
In front of the camera.
Yeah.
And I see you buat skit, then you buat advertisement, jangan cakap lah. And then bila social media tu datang, you terus masuk live and macam tak segan gitu.
Because it's used to it. Dah been trained by all of you guys, in the Mediacorp the other time. So ada macam dah kebiasaan. But the good part is, you want to be in social media even right now, you have to have your basic. This is what I always believe.
Basic yang macam mana tu?
Basic macam whatever stories you have in movies ke apa, must have a closure. But nowadays in social media, there's no closure. There's no education. So you kau pampung, but where is the education? So lacking of education right now in social media for the new generation, there isn't.
Right.
So I think it would be good to have education, like what you said earlier on.
Yeah. Tapi macam kalau you bandingkan dulu dengan sekarang, dulu so your success come from advertisement kan?
Yes.
Do you apply that today? Hari ni you dah berhijrah and all that. Apa yang you gunakan untuk mendatangkan hasil?
Okay, we go back to the basic again.
Okay.
We go back to the basic. The only thing, the challenges is a little bit different because I'm a Muslimah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. The impact is still there. But what I do is I be close to our community now. So that is where I tak segan. Then after that, I nak kena orang mereka tu kena mulut nak kena pepes. And then you nak kena be friendly. Because dulu muka I ni kalau tengok sombong atau garang. So right now I tak, bang baik bang, macam itu. Dah jadi macam makcik-makcik pasar. So I have to be like that. So that is where I think it is better now, abang.
Okay.
2024 was quite bad for me. So when 2025 I duduk fikir macam mana. So I look at all those Muslimah women, how these people are successful.
Okay.
So that is where I get all from them.
Okay.
Tak kira which country. So how come this Muslimah can be successful? Why I cannot? Is it because aku dah berhijrah? Why I still cannot? Kenapa? Or it's because of your personality. You need to change somewhere. You must see who you talk to. If you talk to those makcik jual ikan, you have to talk makcik jual ikan. Kalau you talk to if let's say it's NTUC makcik is different, Sheng Siong is different.
Oh lain
so it's everything is different.
Saya pun tahu jugalah antara NTUC dengan Sheng Siong memang lain. So orang-orang yang pergi sana pun lain juga.
If let's say go food, Carousel punya, Carousel is Carousel. Now I start to learn. Learn the community, the people. So that is where I target right now. Right now I target my age.
Okay.
I target my age. I target the elderly people, and then I have to bring down myself, lower down myself to a little bit more softer because I very kasar. Sampai suara I orang yang lelaki ke perempuan ke apa that kind of thing.
Tapi ni memang asli kan dari dulu kan?
Asli. So but I'm a real woman bang.
Okay. Faham. Okay. What is going on with property industry in Singapore? Pasal I nampak sekarang ramai yang dah masuk kerana I think dari kacamata saya this is my personal view, saya melihat memang this industry ramai yang berjaya. Kelihatannya ramai yang berjaya. So kita nampak ramai yang mengambilnya, kita nampak selebriti pun dah masuk dan sebagainya. So what's going on with this property industry sekarang?
Property industry right now, to be honest, actually jual beli sewa, that kind of thing, actually is the same thing. It's all the same trend. It's whether how popular you are. Celebrity, they're really popular. So when people like you, they will come to you automatically. Tak payah nak waste your money on advertisement. For those people like myself, all that, you need to pump in to be part of this celebrity. So it's money make money.
Do you find it difficult nowadays to reach that level di mana orang akan ambil you.
No, it's actually it's not.
It's not.
It's
Pasal
not.
you dah lama buat ni
Yeah,
kan.
but those younger generation, like those baru naik, they like what I said, they have to be like how I was. You need to have some funds to put up on your advertisement. And also confident lah. Some of them when dekat dalam social media, like nowadays all the trend in TikTok, you look at them, they are very confident. But when they meet the client, it's different. This is what I get feedback from some of the client. Susan, aku tengok diorang cakap ni semua good. Cara dia taruh rumah dia macam cantik semua. Tiba aku bilang pasal aku punya case, aku punya masalah, dia teragak-agak nanti get back. Lepas tu senyap. So the experience there isn't, you know. But in social media, it look good. But in reality, actually it's not. Some of them are not doing well too.
If ada orang yang muda datang kepada you cakap saya perlukan nasihat, I want to enter property industry ni, apa yang you akan nasihatkan mereka?
I would just tell them to just take up their course, take up their exam, get your license first.
Okay.
If let's say you try it out for 1 year, if this line is meant for you, it means it's meant for you. If it's not meant for you, just do it part-time, still work for other places. Kalau misal kata like how I was last time, I kan kerja factory. So it takes me about 10 years, you know.
Oh wow, okay.
10 years, 9 years, baru I full-time in this industry. Because it's not easy.
Okay, but can be comfortable lah kat Singapore kan?
Yeah.
When you are property agent, betul tak?
Correct.
Ya, kau tak ramai lah.
Tak ramai, but a lot of them are making money. Congrats to all these agents. But that, like what I said, there'll be a time if you do something, a big mistake in your life, everything will be gone. There is some cases where agents have, you know, something, you know, something have to do with their life lah, and then customers start to pull back, that kind of thing, that kind of issues, you know.
Yeah, I think this is
common
among orang yang kerja sendiri,
Yes,
entrepreneurs ke property agent, when they go through happy times, successful, kita pun kadang-kadang lupa lah.
Yeah, betul
And
bang.
it's not just you, everyone lupa, dan di situ diuji lah. Bagi I tengok dalam perkara ni memang semua orang akan diuji lah.
Betul bang.
And dalam ujian tu saya rasa macam ada learning lesson, and the big learning lesson saya rasa dalam rezeki ni is not to, bagi I and this my mother selalu cakap jangan locate dengan ilmu.
Betul. Yeah.
Pasal rezeki kita orang tak boleh ambil.
Yeah, betul.
Rezeki you I tak boleh ambil.
Correct.
Rezeki I you tak boleh ambil kan.
Correct.
Tapi like right now you are sharing, and you are sharing your ilmu, your perjalanan. It will benefit someone out there lah. InsyaAllah lah. Apa ciri-ciri seorang yang berjaya dalam in your career, in your industry sebenarnya what do they need to do? And this is what you are doing lah.
Yeah, actually when we are property agent myself, I just realized that there's one thing. The most important thing, you don't think of the money first. Never think of the money first. If you punya niat nak jadi ejen rumah, you also nak kena ada niat untuk menolong orang. So which one come first? Menolong, jual rumah atau money? For me, my concept is tolong dulu. The thing will come naturally. Like what I said, this is your rezeki. Allah kalau nak bagi you rezeki, Dia will give you. So you know, you just think of tolong. Niat tu, nawai tu kita. But it will go smoothly, insyaAllah. Really. This one, trust me, I went through. Yeah, but if your intention, aku nak pergi rumah ni, mesti nak kena jual, mesti nak commission. You know, it will be different.
Tapi itu memang basic concept sebuah bisnes tau. Kita buka bisnes untuk tolong orang. Untuk bantu solve their problem.
Correct.
So what kind of problems have you solved actually for people, buyer, seller dan sebagainya?
Okay, for me, I'm a little bit different. It's not about jual and beli. I like to do a lot of cases like complicated case. Some of them, even the lawyers pun sampai make a complaint against me, thought I'm a lawyer. Which I'm not. I do a lot of cases like case cerai, case faraid. So I do more heavier cases. I don't do simple case, which is very challenging.
You boleh kasih contoh tak case macam faraid misalnya?
This is very classic. Till today I takkan lupa. 2 cases. One case sampai makcik tu murtadkan diri. Just because of faraid.
Macam mana tu?
Okay, so what happened? Dia ada anak 2 and dia ada anak angkat. Anak angkat dia yang jaga dia selama ni. Anak dua-dua left her for very long. Just because 2 sons, anak angkat perempuan.
Okay.
So if anything happens to her, of course the 2 sons will get, the anak angkat doesn't get. You see?
Okay.
So because of that, dia dah sakit dah on wheelchair. Dia murtadkan diri as a Christian. And then do will. This one I ever talk.
Jadi tidak difaraidkan.
Yeah.
Itu yang dia buat. Allah.
And she passed on. She really passed on. In front of my eyes. I sold the house. I cannot do anything. Time tu I belum hijab Saya bilang I'm still a free thinker. You know that kind of thing. Yeah.
Masya Allah. Ya, banyak tak berlaku benda-benda
Banyak.
gini?
Actually banyak.
In Singapore?
In Singapore, yes.
Oh, sebab itu diorang banyak buat awareness tentang faraid, wasiat dan sebagainya.
Correct. So that's one classic one. Okay. The other faraid one, that one is a little bit, nak kata comedy, I did one video lah, a bit comedy. I mean, I'm a property agent. The family call me up, say, okay, rumah ni mak saya dah meninggal. Bapa saya dah meninggal lah, ni mak saya dah meninggal. So adik-beradik semua ada. Puan Susan boleh datang rumah kita sekarang at Yishun. So I cakap dengan dia, pukul berapa? Sekarang boleh. Kebetulan pula I'm free. So I went down. I went down, rumah dia tingkat 4. I will never tell the block. I naik atas, kat bawah dah ramai orang abang.
Oh.
So you fikir, ni apa ni?
Aduh, okay.
I naik semua at the corridor. Everybody was looking at me.
Apa yang diorang tunggu tu?
I tak tahu apa dia tunggu. But I see the unit number. Okay, rumah yang penuh ni. Because it's long corridor kan rumah dia kan.
Okay.
And on top of that, arwah mak dia kat situ tengah-tengah hall. How you feel?
Aduh.
And then,
so kat situ juga dia nak settle kan?
Yes. Ni je rumah dah sampai. So sekarang, okay, saya berapa share?
Orang tu belum lagi dikebumikan kat situ
Wow, that one is like.
Wow.
Then I pula, semua everybody is looking at me, you know. Saya bukan lawyer, saya bukan ustazah. Awak nampak kan saya rugged? You know, I make fun of it. But I was so scared. So I cakap, why not you all settle your things and then you call me back? But actually, you're not supposed to call me. You should actually look for a lawyer, not me. So that's
But I think maybe because you're visible dulu.
Yeah.
On TV dan sebagainya.
Yeah, correct.
Kan? They want, and you want to solve other people's problem.
Yeah. But that one is cannot bang. That one is, you know, I don't respect arwah kat situ. Is there. Baru mandi jenazah bang.
Betul.
So it's like, you know, you don't respect the jenazah at all.
Yeah.
That is where I masih belum lagi berhijrah kan. You know, shall I, is this agama okay or not?
No.
Tu I masih 50-50 lagi tu. That is one of the reason also for this case. That is for faraid bang.
Wow. Okay, this is the first time I dengar macam ni. Perkara macam ni. Walaupun I pun pernah interview lah kes-kes yang faraid tapi tak sampai macam ni lah.
Yes.
So this is eye-opener for me. Kalau you lihat kembali your life and your journey kan, how do you plan to move forward now and to do your career, to do your business, to do your career? What are your plans actually?
My plans right now is I just want to educate people. The most important thing, what is the society is going on right now.
Okay.
Don't talk about our relationship. I just want to mix property issues, faraid issues, divorce issues, etc. Because we need more education.
Yes.
Because kita punya keislaman tu dah you know, I see, because I'm one of it. I just want them to realize that you know, Islam is actually easy, but we ourselves make things difficult. You know, so the best is some of them doesn't know where to go. Some of them dengar cakap orang, faraid macam gini faraid. They did not go and even go to MUIS and check and find out, or maybe get a peguam. Some of them get a peguam bukan agama kita, so they doesn't know so much. So these are the things they are lacking. Because why? It's about dollar and cents. Kalau pakai lawyer dia ni murah, tapi he doesn't know about agama so much. You see? So these are a lot of issues come out lah sekarang ni. So the only thing is we need to give more education to our Muslim friends out there.
Okay.
So inshallah, I think we'll be better. This is my aim. This is my goal.
Okay. Is this what you do now in social media?
Yeah, I'm doing now.
You're doing that now?
Yeah, I'm royal sikit. Right now I'm royal. Apalah masalah korang ni? Tak habis masalah. And then I doom, and then I closure.
Okay.
Korang ni sebenarnya kena buat macam gini. This is the right way.
Okay.
People, what I do is I track people, I hit, and then I talk down. But when I talk slow, dah semua orang keluar bang. Macam gitu. It's okay. For me, it's okay. Maybe I cut it as a VTT and just tell. That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said lah, tak perlu macam kita dulu kita risau sangat kalau viewership down kan. Sekarang dah ada reel dan sebagainya.
Correct.
You boleh still continue.
Yeah.
Perkara tentang harta dan hartanah ni.
Yes.
Lebih lagi bila ada ahli keluarga yang meninggal ni, satu perkara yang penting.
Yeah.
I baru last weekend kita buat satu faraid and wasiat punya event. I do get involved in a lot of ini, and I like it. Pasal apa? The penetration of this awareness masih belum menyeluruh. Ramai dah tahu tapi belum menyeluruh, and I think you are helping the community to understand.
InsyaAllah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
insyaAllah.
because there is also a few cases right now based on hartanah.
Okay.
Where joint tenancy and tenancy in common.
I think masih belum tahu, ramai belum tahu.
Still, you know, even fatwa is already up there 2019, but a lot of people doesn't know. But the thing is, even there is a joint tenancy between parents and children, they even fight till state court.
Tapi joint tenancy apa?
There's still a fight right now. Ada masih. So this mengelirukan. So the awareness is really there. Everything is there, but people doesn't want to read. There's the masalah masyarakat kita. Masyarakat kita doesn't want to read, but they will rather listen to those people like me, example yang meroyannya, they trust. Kau tahu tak, kau jangan beli sayur ni tau, kau beli sayur ni. They will follow that. That is our community lifestyle. So I think we need to get someone who is loud and makcik-makcik or whoever listen, baru dia dengar, they will listen that. But they don't do reading. They will not go to Mui's website or whatever, you know. They will listen to others.
Yeah, okay.
That's the middle class.
I think it's
people.
easy now to listen to someone lah.
Yeah.
That's why I think kalau ramai yang buat education macam ni penting lah.
Correct.
Macam before I got to know the difference between tenancy in common and joint tenancy pun kita rasa macam alamak, it's very hard to unpack.
Correct.
Macam, you know, but when something happen in your family, then you baru find out, gini rupanya kan. Then it stays in you. It stays dia punya information tu. Dia boleh grab nicely.
So that's the reason why our masyarakat is always joint tenancy. So actually, if they are so worried, actually tenancy in common is actually good.
Yeah. So we have to really find out. Benda ni, jadi kalau you need to follow Susan. Tell us your social media handle. Where are you most active?
Okay.
TikTok you buat juga kan?
Yeah. I have my own personal blog.
Okay.
Which we call it Awesome Malay SG.
Okay.
That's my personal blog. Got nothing to do with my hartanah.
Okay.
That is where I kena viral pasal nasi berani tulang those time. Okay. Pakcik yang tak ada gigi berani tulang. So that is where it boomed.
Okay.
And then my personal one is Amboi Susan Mariam. Okay. So or you can just Google me Susan Mariam. Kadang-kadang awesome tu semua keluar. Even in YouTube or whatever. Most of the social media.
So you are in almost all. So you are the Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, LinkedIn.
Everything.
Anywhere else?
I think no. I think more or less that.
Which one is the most followed?
Facebook. Yeah.
Okay. But TikTok you baru start ke apa?
TikTok tak. I has and when. TikTok I just feel that it's just a place for me to relax. Dulu suka pergi karaoke, KTV, you know. So now I got TikTok is free. So I nyanyi lah walaupun tak sedap. But a little bit of content here and there in TikTok.
You know, talking about that again. I think I'm now projecting lah. I suka buat live kerana is therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I tengah dah penat the whole day. Okay, you dah decompress tau.
Yeah.
You dah decompress and I just want to round up my day and kids dah tidur. I will just on my Instagram tau. I just go live. Pasal is therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
And I just share dengan orang tu apa I go through. And bila I dah habis live tu, sama ada orang ke tidak, I tak kisah sangat tau. Tapi bagi yang ada, I just tell them what's going on. And then I off. And I feel good tau. And I can sleep.
Yeah. For me, I nyanyi 2-3 lagu.
Okay.
Walaupun 3 orang je tengok, I feel shocked because I used to go karaoke kan. Tak sedap pun tak apa nyanyi. Just to do it live. Dah happy je. Then I sleep. You know. And those time, I do a lot paranormal kan.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
okay.
those time kan. Malam-malam paranormal. But now it's different. Now I feel very fresh. Dulu, very tiring because of this bad energy, you know, the kind of thing. So it's not, I think no lah. Yeah.
Anyway, terima kasih datang untuk update kita. I have some time ni, maybe I want to get your advice.
Boleh.
untuk mereka yang mungkin sedang melalui jatuh bangun kehidupan. Maybe two advice, satu tentang kehidupan dan satu tentang your career. So untuk mereka yang sedang melalui susah payah kehidupan, and maybe diorang tengah macam waktu you tengah lupa and you macam tak tahu apa nak buat, apa yang boleh mereka lakukan?
The first thing which I always advise people out there, be close to whoever you have in life, which you don't have in life. The best person, the best, it's not a person lah. Always have Quran beside you.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can't see that the particular person who is Allah. You know, you don't see physical, but He's always there for you. But when it come to doa and berzikir, you need to concentrate. Dia macam, you know, you just need to concentrate and diam. You need a place to diam. But if you really cannot go that way, maybe you are different. You need to look for someone, you know, someone who is tenang. The circle of people tenang, relax. Tak ada juga. Be close to any ustaz or ustazah. They will really calm you and etc. This is what I always believe right now.
Okay.
But if you go and talk to your friends or whoever, sometimes their point is good, sometimes they are not. Sometimes they are killing us back, you know. So I think no lah, forget it. So be close. Kalau tidak, those people who dah jatuh teruk-teruk, dah bangun, put aside the negative. Think of what you're going to do next. What shall we do? What shall we earn? Right now, okay, apa yang kita masalah? Duit. It's all about money. So where we will need to start first. So if you need help, I mean the government bodies, you know, there's family centers to help. I went to family center myself.
Oh, okay. Tu bila tu?
That is that period.
That period. Oh.
That period. I macam tak nak dengar cakap ustaz tau. Ada part tau. Ustaz pun tak nak dengar, semua tak nak dengar. So I go, I go family center. Every estate there's a family center. You can just Google.
So jangan malu lah
Tak ada malu. I myself went down. Sampai they look at me, you actually can get a psychiatrist at Mount E. Dia cakap gitu kan. Because I was driving a car. Diorang macam I feel so low. Or maybe dia kata, dia ni apa? Nak murah-murah je ke apa? Service. But actually, these people, the family centers, actually help us a lot. They are not social worker. They will actually tell us, okay, we'll get for you a social worker for this. They will start. So Singapore, to be honest, bang, everything ada. Hanya nak tak nak. Tak ada benda nak malu. Kalau saya ni tak malu, meet up to a family center and my surrounding, I ambil queue number lagi tau bang. Queue number, semua orang-orang kebanyakan apa tahu, not looking down, semua orang rental. Everybody look at me like that. You know, I still went down. I don't care because I need someone. Okay. And this someone, the third party is the best. So those people yang kat luar tu betul-betul yang down, menangis and be like me, duduk dalam bilik tak nak keluar-keluar, you have to go out from, you know, from your house. And if you think those people surrounding your family is not helping you, get the third people, which is the family center. Really, Singapore government, actually Singapore is a very nice place to stay. The only thing is kita need to bring down ego. The problem with Singaporean is because kita Singapore, we are rich country. Our currency is very high. Because of that ego we have, because we always go Malaysia. Malaysia is cheap. That perangai, you know. But when come to kau dah susah, kau malu pula nak pergi family center. This is what I'm talking to some people like that. Actually, there's nothing to malu. Kalau malu juga, tak apa. Pakai mask.
Pakai mask?
Pakai mask, pakai cermin mata.
Oh, mask. Okay.
Mask.
Because I saw your goal, so I thought it's mask.
Alah, saya kacau goal saya je pula. So you wear the mask, you will not be, you know, malu.
Okay, betul juga. Sekarang senang kan? How about, would you give, adakah Suzanne akan berikan nasihat yang sama untuk mereka yang sedang mencari kejayaan dalam career atau business?
Yeah, I will also give advice sama juga. Jangan malu, jangan segan tanya. If you tak bertanya, you will never go up. And then sometimes it's good for you to mix around with the corporate people. Hanya kita feel janggal lah, pasal kita is not the educated people. Tapi you just try to sit in je lah, biarkan. Ada orang minum kopi macam gini, yang ada perempuan use the hand like that. Korang ikut je. Korang ikut je. Pasal kita dah biasa minum air macam gini. Gitu, you see. So kalau kau nampak, biar dia pegang dia punya gelas dulu, then kau ikut. Dia gini, kau pun gini. So because some of them are not familiar with the corporate people. So kita try to blend in. Because we are street people. You know, I'm a street people. So it's different. You see, with my education. So you need to blend in. InsyaAllah.
InsyaAllah.
Yeah.
Wow, banyak saya belajar hari ni. Please follow Susan in all her social media, and kalau nak contact dia pun boleh kan?
Boleh.
You want to tell them your phone number?
Kalau misal kata untuk hikmat penjualan rumah dan membeli rumah dan sebagainya sebagai ijrah tanah, but not others ya. Di 9235 Sifar 20. Lagi sekali, nama saya Amboi Susan Mariam. Di talian 235 9235-0020 ataupun di bahasa Melayu 9235 Sifar 20.
InsyaAllah. Dan jangan lupa share. And kita satu perkara yang Sujimin nak minta, kalau bila anda menonton benda ni, tambahkan komen nasihat anda pula. Mungkin anda juga sudah melalui banyak perkara
Ya, betul.
kita tak tahu di luar sana, dan bantu kita lah untuk hangatkan benda-benda yang bermanfaat, insyaAllah.
Betul, insyaAllah.
Jadi kita jumpa lagi. Assalamualaikum semuanya.